All right, let us do a video about something Bob Arum said about Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson is an excellent fighter. Excellent fighter. I do believe he is a 126-pound champion. I don't recall right now whether that is I know that it's not the WBC because that is Gary Russell Jr. I think he's with Top Rank, so more than likely he's the WBO 126-pound champion. But he's down there with Josh Warrington, Gary Russell Jr., and Shakur Stevenson. But Bob Arum says that this kid is the second coming of Floyd Mayweather Jr. Let's hope that is true and not true at the same time. But let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back. So Bob Arum says that Shakur Stevenson is the next second coming of Floyd Mayweather Jr. Floyd, I don't even know how to take that coming from Bob Arum, man. That could be good, that could be bad. It could be good for Shakur Stevenson, or it could be bad for Shakur Stevenson. Because as we know, Bob Arum and Top Rank signed Floyd Mayweather Jr. out of the amateurs and promoted him for all the way up until he got to be at maybe 140 pounds. But through the early, when he was Floyd, Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather, who beat Gennaro Hernandez, who beat Angel Manfredi, Diego Corrales, Diego Corrales, Luis Castillo, all those great fights, man. In my opinion, the absolute best of Floyd Mayweather's career was that time frame when he was just on another level, man, completely, right? He was represented by Top Rank. So, Bob Arum is, these are some of the compliments that Bob Arum gives to fighters that work for him, that work under him, or whatever, that he promotes, where he tries to tell you how great the fighter is by comparing him to fighters in the past, right? So you hear that Terrence Crawford reminds me of a Sugar Ray Leonard. Vasily Lomachenko is the greatest fighter since a young Muhammad Ali. I guess that means he's better than the mid-aged Muhammad Ali who beat George Foreman. But okay, whatever. So it makes sense. And these are all guys, by the way, that Bob Arum promoted or co-promoted. I had heard recently, and I need to look back into it, that there was a co-promotional deal for Sugar Ray Leonard between Don King and Bob Arum, but I have to verify that. I know for sure that Bob Arum was involved. I didn't recall Don King being involved, but you get the point. So Shakur Stevenson, who is definitely one of the best fighters that Top Rank has, and one of the best fighters, young fighters coming up in boxing, to say that he is similar to a Floyd Mayweather Jr., I think it's a tremendous compliment, depending on whether or not that's tongue in cheek. Because if you look at the relationship between Bob Arum and Floyd Mayweather Jr., it's a funny one. Bob Arum did not, of all the fighters that Bob Arum has promoted, where you see they do these in-house fights where, the guy, like for example, you take a Mick Conlan. Mick Conlan ain't fought nobody. Mick Conlan's probably not going to fight anybody for a while. Shakur Stevenson even said that he believed he said that he believed. Sorry, I just got a text message. He said that he believed that Bob Arum was keeping Mick Conlan from him. But regardless, they do a lot of in-house fights. They don't really push these fighters at Top Rank. In my opinion, they don't really push him that hard. With Floyd Mayweather Jr., I spent watching fights for the early part of Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s career thinking to myself, is Bob Arum trying to get this dude beat? Because he just keeps putting him in. He keeps putting him in with guys that are super tough fights. Like the fight with Gennaro Hernandez that early in his career. I was like, Gennaro Hernandez was an established champion. He was a legitimate fighter. it wind up that, Floyd Mayweather Jr. was on a completely different level than Gennaro Hernandez and did what he needed to do. But same thing with Jose Luis Castillo, same thing with Diego Corrales. I wouldn't necessarily say the Angel Man Freddy, but, because I wasn't really that big on Angel Man Freddy, but there were a lot of people that were big on Angel Man Freddy at the time. He wouldn't, however, put him in there with Oscar De La Hoya. And if you look at the relationship between, though not just the fights, but the relationship between Bob Arum and Floyd Mayweather Jr. as far as him putting him out in the forefront, he was like third fiddle. He's pretty much in the same situation as a Terrence Crawford is now, where Floyd Mayweather Jr. was, in my opinion, and I think it bared out in what happened in the future. After that point in time, that Floyd Mayweather Jr. was the best guy in that dude that he had signed. And quite honestly, man, there's a chance that Floyd Mayweather Jr., it's arguable that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is, and actually it's very, very likely that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is the best fighter that Bob Arum and Top Rank have ever signed. Now, Bob Arum, now note, Muhammad Ali did fight for Top Rank, and actually he and Herbert Muhammad, somebody was closely associated with Muhammad Ali, founded Top Rank. So even the idea that Bob Arum was the founder of Top Rank is just, that's more smoke and mirrors. Yeah, I'm sure maybe his name was on the paperwork and maybe he's the one that filed the incorporation and had a percentage business of it. But the Top Rank itself was something that was pushed forward by the Nation of Islam, because otherwise, why in the world would Herbert Muhammad be one of the co-founders, right? Herbert Muhammad is the son of Elijah Muhammad, who was in the Nation of Islam, and they are the ones that recruited Muhammad Ali and gave him the name from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali. But regardless, there is an argument that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is the best guy that Top Rank has ever signed, including, and obviously, Vasily Lomachenko, Terrence Crawford, and anybody he has here. But and Oscar De La Hoya, but he was clearly pushed to the background for the golden boy, Oscar De La Hoya, who was a tremendous fighter, but who Bob Arum was really pushing because he said, hey man, I want to sell a lot of fights to Mexican fight fans. Oscar De La Hoya is the golden boy and all that good stuff. So Shakur Stevenson finds himself, now if that's what I'm saying, if Bob Arum is saying that he's the second coming of Floyd Mayweather Jr., I hope that all he's talking about is the skill. And I don't hope that he's also referring to the way that he's going to treat Shakur Stevenson. But right now, it seems like it's the same thing. If you recall, when Shakur Stevenson was fighting on ESPN, he got interviewed. I think he got interviewed by Max Kellerman. I believe that was Shakur Stevenson who was in that interview and was like, look, these guys aren't pushing me. They weren't pushing Shakur Stevenson the same way that they were pushing Teofimo Lopez, because those guys are both coming up pretty much at the same time, both excellent fighters. But one guy, Teofimo Lopez, is getting a lot of push from Top Rank, and Shakur Stevenson, not so much, right? And he's definitely not there with the Vasily Lomachenko type of publicity that he's getting, and behind Tyson Fury, the world's greatest cheater. Man, and Tyson Fury really and truly is, dude, might be the greatest cheater in the history of boxing, dog. He is really, really, really there with Fritzy Zivic and all of this, after all of this stuff has been coming out. Regardless, I hope that that's not the case. I hope that's not what he means, Bob Arum means by that, because man, it took Floyd Mayweather Jr. leaving Bob Arum before he could really take off and shine, man. And I hope that that's not the case for Shakur Stevenson. I hope Shakur Stevenson can, get the recognition that he deserves, fight the tough fights that he wants to fight, move up in weight, because he's going to be at 126, then 130, then 135. I think he's going to wind up around 135. He might make it up to 140 pounds, but he gets to be that multiple weight division champion, and he gets the credit that he deserves for being a very, very great fighter, man. Because I wasn't big on Shakur Stevenson when I first started watching him fight. But as time went on, I was like, yeah, I really see why Andre Ward and a lot of these guys are so big on Shakur Stevenson. He's the real deal. Is he a Floyd Mayweather level of real deal? That remains to be seen. But I hope that it comes out, because I'm looking for that level of fighter, man. There ain't nothing wrong with seeing great fighters. Anyway, it is what it is. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.